It's space weather! Hey, thanks subscribers, and thanks to everybody that's plugging our channel. As we've over doubled our subscribers just since yesterday. We're now over 500 and just increasing to the point where we're not going to be able to, answer everybody's comments anymore. So thanks everybody. David Dubine of Adapt 2030, we are very gracious. Ha! Now, how come we're looking at this instead of the sun? Because a crucial video came out last night about the SAFIRE project. It's their 2018 update. Let me just play you a tidbit here from one of our hosts.
Okay, you may have heard that there are certain problems with the nuclear fusion model for the sun. Like, it predicts almost nothing about how the sun behaves.
So that's crucial, all right? The nuclear fusion model of the sun is, it's about to be thrown in the garbage. And when it is, all of cosmology needs to be rewritten also, as we use the solar model to make every estimation about every astronomical object in the entire universe. Let's get back to this just for a couple seconds here. Please don't ban our video, YouTube.
The fusion model may not be able to predict sunspots, or coronal loops, or the relative abundances of the elements in the photosphere. It may not be able to predict the 11-year cycle of the magnetic field, or the amount of...
So it doesn't predict solid body rotation or a million other things about the sun. We're going to leave a link to this video. This one is hosted by thunderboltsproject.info. And this is the update on the SAFIRE project, which is a plasma experiment, which has been going on since, I believe, 2015 or 2016. And it's very interesting. Please watch the video if you understand plasma physics, or if you're wanting to understand plasma physics. This is a tiny model of the sun. Let's move on. Now, in gratitude for everybody that's plugging our channel, we're going to plug our officially endorsed channels. Sky Scholar, hosted by Dr. Pierre-Marie Robitaille, professor of radiology at Ohio State University, talking about astronomy. Oppenheimer Ranch Project, paleogeologist David Moriello, a.k.a. Diamond, talking all things grand solar minimum related. Suspicious Observers, hosted by Ben Davidson, covering the sun, daily sun and science, and just general astronomy subjects. David Schlottower, premier meteorologist, and David Dubine, our most recent officially endorsed channel. Thanks, David. We're over 500 subscribers now, so we really appreciate it. And let's move on to the actual update. Now, let's look at the last 48 hours of the sun. All right, so here's the sun in 171 angstroms. You can see no sunspots. There is a small coronal mass ejection that leaves the southern portion of the sun, which spaceweather.com indicates does have an Earth-facing portion. That's not expected to arrive for a few days, though. You can see there is a prominence down here in the southwest. Check that out. Let that play through real quick. And let's look at 304 angstroms, see if we can see that CME, coronal mass ejection, for those of you who... Oh yeah, you can totally see it there. It just peels right off of this area. Check it out. We'll let that play through again. There it goes. It looks like a little bit of it is Earth-facing. I wouldn't worry too much about it. Let's look at the magnetic lines. We are currently in a coronal hole wind stream, and the magnetic connection between that coronal hole and the Earth is tenuous at best. No sunspots. We do see a little bit of a density fields over here, and a little bit of activity there, but nothing, even the coronal hole wind stream has not gotten the KP index as high as we predicted yesterday. I think we're only at a 3 right now, or possibly a 2. So let's go to spaceweather.com. Sorry, spaceweathernews.com. And thanks, Ben Davidson, by the way, for running such a fantastic website. All right. Looking at the X-ray flux, you can see quite low, still flatlined. The BTBZ is finally converging a bit, and the phi angle is still bouncing around, but there is somewhat of a signal there indicating somewhat of a magnetic connection. Now, as we predicted yesterday, the solar wind density has dropped down, and the solar wind speed has steadily ramped up. Let's look at the real-time version of that real quick. By the way, we will be leaving links below to all of these sites. And you can see there is a bit of a phi angle signal there in the last 12 hours. Solar wind density currently at 7.55 protons per cubic centimeter, and 427 kilometers per second for the solar wind speed. A little bit weaker than we expected, which is why the KP has not gone to 5 as we predicted yesterday. Now, you can see very steep magnetometer spikes. This is quite anomalous here. And reaching 150 nanotesla is actually a high reading for the past few weeks. This is normally a little smoother than this, so we're going to keep an eye on this. And major earthquake risk does continue. So, the solar wind speed has gotten the KP index up to 2. Never got to 5 where we expected, but we would not be surprised for sudden spikes in that. Electron flux has dipped as it usually does during a coronal hole wind stream. And this particular section right here is a little bit, hey, cooperate with this browser. This section here is a little bit anomalous. So I would keep an eye on that. I think that electron flux is going to head back up throughout the day today. However, it's not going to reach a high level because there's not a lot of features to drive that. Now, looking at the F2 ionosphere layer, this is quite discharged on the high end, but not discharged that much on the low end. We're looking at 9 megahertz here. We're looking at 9 megahertz here, trailing the sun, and only a couple spots down to 1 megahertz. So it's not particularly charged on the high end and not particularly discharged on the low end. It's kind of a sort of a featureless F2 layer there. In fact, it's really this area is kind of anomalously, this area here is really anomalously low, especially considering we're getting a solar wind stream. Let's look at the earthquake situation, as there's been a lull in earthquakes in the past 8 hours. We're not going to go back farther than that, but oh geez, there's been so many in the last 3 hours, mainly in Alaska. And when we say a lot, we're talking about hundreds. There's the swarm in Alaska, and it seems to be spreading out. So California stays on earthquake alert, and yeah. Now let's look at tropical tidbits for just a quick moment here. As we've been studying the jet stream in the past few videos, mainly because the sun drives all of the Earth's weather, and magnetic fields are really responsible for that. We're looking at the upper level wind situation here. This is showing you the way the jet stream affects the weather. So let's just rewind. This is let's see, that's 2 days ago. We'll just let this play through. There's your meridional jet stream flow caused by changes in magnetic fields. And this is going to bring you through, there's December 4th, December 5th. Going to have high pressure in the east. And then another system develops, which is going to blanket heavy snow on the entire eastern U.S. Next, we're going to talk about Elon Musk for just a quick second. Why is that? Well, because, this article's about Bitcoin and geoengineering. Not geoengineering. This is about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And perhaps because we noticed something that maybe a lot of people missed. We've been saying regularly that magnetic fields run the universe. And an interesting thing occurred during the Joe Rogan podcast with Elon Musk, because they were describing, Elon Musk's vocation, and he's referred to in Wikipedia as a business magnate, meaning a high-powered businessman. And he would prefer to call himself a magnet, because being an engineer, he probably is aware that magnetic fields run the entire universe. Just wanted to share that little tidbit. And if you haven't listened to the Elon Musk Joe Rogan podcast, we recommend you do. Lastly, we recommend you head to SAFIREproject.com and read about their plasma experiments, as they are fascinating. Looks a little bit like the sun, doesn't it? Well, that's in their SAFIRE chamber. So, yeah. In any case, thanks everybody for watching. We never expected to have so many subscribers so quickly. It is amazing. We'll be making more videos like this daily. Thanks all you channels out there that are making original content. We do appreciate it, and we'll be watching your videos too. Please don't forget to like and subscribe the videos and the channel. Please share them on your social media. Don't accept any wooden nickels. And may the wind be at your back and the atherosclerosis absent from your circulatory system.